on StreamYard today. So we got a lot of
Yeah.
technical things going on. So if you want to see us in person, you can visit us on Facebook Live, either on my page, Janae Cook Muhammad, or you can just come on to I think I'm streaming on 3 different pages tonight. So we're trying to get this thing up, and we're also streaming on YouTube, on my YouTube page tonight. We have an action-packed show for you tonight. We are just ready to give you the current events. I'm gonna let Sister Mello take off. I'm gonna do more of the technical side. If you do want to come
All
on
right.
when we ask for guests, you must press 1 so I can know that you want to come on the show. You have something to say or you want to share with us. Please share this episode. We got started a little late, but always on time. Black Power, Black
Black Power.
Power. So take over, Sister Mellow Desire out in LA. Sister
All
Desire.
right. Trying to
All
call in. I
right.
can't call in. All right. Well,
You can't get
greetings,
in.
Black family. Is it okay if I just I can't call in for some reason. But greetings, Black family. I am so grateful to be with you this evening. We have a lot to share with you, as we spoke about last week, concerning a story about Jelani Day. Now, we had also the Howard University students, which we spoke about, and we want to get an update from that from Queen Mama Janae later on in the show. And in the last hour, we will be talking about Black Panther women and our moral values and where do we take it from here. So, first, I want to share with you the update with Jelani Day. Now, if you remember, Jelani Day was a 25-year-old med student that was killed and found in the river in Peru. And his mother was not notified. His mother, Carmen Borden Day, did a round of interviews, and you know how police still did not give her and the family the respect in reporting Jelani's death in time. So, what was more chilling, what we found out is that not only was Jelani not reported in time, but they found out that he was missing some of his organs. Now, when I tell you the movie Get Out comes to mind, when they are talking about organ harvesting, Black family, this is something that is so real and is so devastating, especially to the Black community, because many Black people are gone missing and not reported in time, just like Jelani Day. And Jelani Day, remember, Black family, was only put out because Gabby Petito, a white female that was plastered all over the news, millions and millions of hits. That was the only reason why it was brought to light. Jelani Day was not getting that type of coverage. But to find out that his organs, his eyes, his sockets, and let's just have Philip from African Diaspora Channel. Actually, let's go into that second video where Philip is actually reporting in full of the upset that this recent findings of Jelani Day has gone. How do I? Can we play the second video? Okay, so while we're waiting for right here, the second video.
Colonization never ended in the white supremacist system. And as we see today, the colonization is in the mind. Now, those who have been enslaved and those who have been colonized, we're still dealing with the remnants of that through the colonization of the mind. Pick up my book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, and we will help deprogram you from the colonization that was put upon you by generations and generations of white supremacy. You can pick it up today on Amazon.com.
Hello fam, welcome back to the African Diaspora News channel. I'm Mugil Zalalem bringing you this report. Today's video is about a Nigerian governor scolding a Chinese contractor for a hospital he built badly. The hospital was inspected and they found out that it was substandard. Let me show you this clip, we'll come back and discuss.
The work done is zero. You hear me?
Oh, that's not the video.
Work done is what?
That's not the video.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that is not the video that we want to play. But in relation to
Okay.
this, what this African diaspora report, we can actually touch a little bit about that. Yeah, we'll go back to Sebastian Billy Thomas. Um,
Okay.
but what they were
with your
reporting
hard work, but you
in
come
that
from a
video,
family
pause it,
of advocates.
Okay.
that in Nigeria, what was happening right now is that there were Chinese workers that were supposed to build a hospital and they did not do so. And so, because of it, the Nigerian governor, and which we'll talk about later on in international news, is upset and actually called this worker out. And I want you to really think about this, Black family, that when you have an invasion of other ethnicities into Africa, into the United States, the main common denominator is blacks, is us. We are still considered property. But when they invade our country, the country, and they do not even build a hospital, as we will see later on, it tells you the lack of respect that they have for the black population. So what do we do now? We need to educate ourselves and know the law. And when we go to this video later on, we will talk about how the governor asked questions, how he questioned the other workers that were Chinese. Okay, remember, they're not Nigerian. And they were supposed to build a hospital in Nigeria and they haven't done so. So, why is that okay? So, real estate. So, let's talk about how we can change our mentality to actually gain real estate. So, this video that we're going to be watching now is the son of Mark Ridley Thomas, Sebastian Ridley Thomas, who also was the youngest assemblyman in Los Angeles at the time. Now, he's interviewing with the Los Angeles Sentinel newspaper, which is a very popular Black newspaper in Los Angeles. And because of the family ties with this family, the family of Mark Lee Thomas politics has grown. And this is why the scandal right now that's happening with the indictment of millions of dollars of contracts going into USC, while black children, black families in South LA that really deserve to go to USC doesn't have a chance because they don't have access to our county money as the Ridley Thomases did. So we're going to look at a clip at the history of the Ridley Thomases through the eyes of the son Sebastian. Can you play it?
Yeah, it should be playing.
Okay, as it's loading, I guess.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
moving.
it's coming.
He's frozen. That's what I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, he look great too.
that's that tells me right
He
there.
look
That's
crazy.
Brandon Brooks.
Okay,
And
maybe it's
let's
over
talk
now.
a little bit about Brandon. What you see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, is Brandon L. Brooks. So he's the managing editor for LA Sentinel newspaper for I think maybe over 9 years. And so, okay, has unmuted your video. Okay. Okay, what's going?
No sound.
We got to work this tech stuff out.
I know, right? Okay, it's going now. You just gotta catch up with it. I see improvement. I think it's the internet connection too.
Okay.
Yeah, it may be the engine that you're using. You might have to use Safari instead of. Are you using Google Chrome?
Janae,
Yes,
what?
that's all I can use on my. Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
well,
okay. Yeah, that's probably why.
oh, okay.
and got multiple screens open. Let me see. Let me take it off and then put it back on there. Cause I got too much to do right now. My hands is full. We see y'all out there. Just feel the the queue up. We need to get an update from Stephen Biko. He's trying to get
Yeah.
on the line. So let's go to the phone lines until we can get this
Yes.
situated. Hold on one second.
Callers, and if
Okay.
you want to call in, 646
You are
478
live on Black Power
47.
Radio, 310-917-7. We hear you, brother. Black Power. Can y'all hear?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Hmm.
Seditious libel, excuse me, excuse me, please. Seditious libel, hello, seditious libel is not, it's unconstitutional. It was part of the beginning of this country and was decided under stare decisis to be the first law of the land that seditious libel would not be tolerated in America. That's why we have freedom of speech. They can put your name down on any piece of paper they want to, and any of this is accessible through the Freedom of Information Act. You can get all of this. But these people, you can't let these people frighten you from voicing your journalistic opinions. You have a right to the freedom of the press. You have a right to free speech.
Right.
Mm.
Starting your locker national hairdresser.
Say what now? What did you say?
Say.
You said the feds are ready to do. Go ahead, Steve. We're listening to you.
I have a right to my own political viewpoint. I have a right to my own beliefs. And that you're not a French party, nor can you deny me the right to have it. Nor can you deny me the right of expression.
Mm.
The moment I stand on that, I'm not telling anybody to pick up arms and take over the government. I mean, I never said that. I never said that. But I have said that when, according to the U.S. Constitution, when the people lose faith in their government and believe that the government does not have the capacity to protect its citizens, citizens have the right at that point to form militias and act in their own defense and their own best interest. That is what their document said. I didn't make that up. That's what their document said. But I never, in any public appearance that I've given, I never incited anybody to rise up against the government, law enforcement, or anything of that nature. I spoke out against the practices of law enforcement. I spoke out against the hypocritical practices of the government. And any lies that I've done can be cleared up. Any speech that I've done publicly, people have recorded it, and those documents can be made public. Those can be made public. Those videos can be made public, and that verification that I have never done what they are asserting that I've done, or are attempting to condition the people to believe that I've done. I've never been an insurgent. I've never been a partisan, according to their definition. But I have been one who has honestly made known against the system that it's an unjust system. I can publish speaks about the need for the abolishment of these Gestapo style police practices. Yes, and I'll continue to do that even from in here. And I've spoken publicly about the way that these children are being treated at Howard University. Those are human rights violations that are taking place there. And you have those lackeys that are on the board of trustees that are doing nothing in support of those children who are being forced to live in terrible conditions. And these lackeys, the lackey leadership in Washington, D.C., the bourgeoisie, black elites in Washington, D.C., say nothing. This is about Nigeria. We look at a government of Nigeria that is a puppet regime that is put in place by the Western power that is oppressive of its own people in Nigeria. The same thing that happened in Rwanda, where public government, public dictatorships have been put in place to exercise the will of the Western imperialist power program. But I say this, I only got 6 seconds later. When Trump is not going to work around fighting independence of our people. And don't forget that the breast cancer awareness month is also $2 million for this month. So, brothers, keep your damn hands off this podcast.
That's
There's
right.
now on social media calling us bitches and hoes. Man up. And those men who are principled men need to step up and check them when they do things like that. I don't care what gun club you belong to. I don't care what organization you belong to. If you're out here disrespecting the system, you have to be a part of a principled organization. And you can't continue to exercise combat liberalism because that person is afraid you won't say anything because that person is your leader. You won't say anything. Speak up. Black power.
Black power, brother.
It's fine.
Black power, black power.
Power, everybody.
All right. Black power, everybody. We back. Okay. Okay. Wow. I mean, like every time I hear something else, it just take me back to that moment when everything happened. And it's like I never thought it would lead up to this. So much drama. So much dissension and so much, but I mean, that's why we have protocols in place. That's why you follow your 12 general orders. And when they are in place and someone violates them, I mean, you breaking protocol. You know what I'm saying? Because we know what we're doing. We know what we're up against. We know that this fight could lead ultimately to our death or our imprisonment by any means necessary. As hard as we're fighting to stay for our freedom, they're going to fight even harder to lock us up or to kill us or to accuse us of doing treasonous acts against this government. You know, So I just had to take all that in. Like I said, I just got back home. I'm gonna let you take over, Sister Mello, for a little while. I gotta just process all this information. Okay,
Yeah, and
so you got it. Everybody can hear you.
well, we definitely need to keep Brother Biko in prayer as we continue to expose. And guess what? His public defender, right? If we can have liberty to speak about Tyrell, Mr. Tyrell, I'm going to
Yes.
pull up one here. One of the things that we have to know is the law. Excuse me. Well, one of the things we want to turn to is the second video here, vexatious litigant. We're going to talk about what is a vexatious litigant pertain to legal services. So vexatious means when someone is deemed filing or deemed someone that is advocating for civil rights suits too much in the fact that they put you on a certain list. And so the second video here, if we can play that. I don't
Okay.
see it. We may have some technical difficulty, but in yeah. Okay, there you go.
Vexatious litigation is legal action which is brought, regardless of its merits, solely to harass or subdue an adversary. It may take the form of a primary frivolous lawsuit or may be the repetitive, burdensome, and unwarranted filing of meritless motions in a matter which is otherwise a meritorious cause of action. Filing vexatious litigation is considered an abuse of the judicial process and may result in sanctions against the offender. A single action, even a frivolous one, is usually not enough to raise a litigant to the level of being declared vexatious. Rather, a pattern of frivolous legal actions is typically required to rise to the level of vexatious. Repeated and severe instances by a single lawyer or firm can result in eventual disbarment. Some jurisdictions have a list of vexatious litigants, people who have repeatedly abused the legal system. Because lawyers could be disbarred for participating in this abuse of the legal process, vexatious litigants are often unable to retain legal counsel, and such litigants therefore represent themselves in court. Those on the vexatious litigant list are usually either forbidden from any further legal action, or are required to obtain prior permission from a senior judge before taking any legal action. The process by which a person is added to the list varies among jurisdictions. In liberal democratic jurisdictions, declaring someone a vexatious litigant is considered to be a serious measure and rarely occurs, as judges and officials are reluctant to curtail a person's access to the courts. These legal actions occur in some countries of the former British Empire, where the common law system still remains: Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, UK, and US, which are specified below. The civil, codified/continental law does not provide this kind of gate to limit equal access of citizens to the justice system. The concept of vexatious litigation entered into law in 1896 with the Vexatious Actions Act, enacted in England and soon extended to Scotland and Ireland. This was a response primarily to the actions of Alexander Chafers, a solicitor who filed numerous actions against leading members of Victorian society. When costs were awarded against him, he failed to pay. The first law outside Britain was passed in Australia in 1927, the Supreme Court Act, 1927. This too was prompted by the behavior of an individual, Rupert Millen. The first vexatious litigant law in the United States was enacted in California in 1963. By 2007, 5 U.S. states had passed similar legislation: California, Florida, Hawaii, Ohio, and Texas.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, vexatious litigate, if wasn't heard, in short, is a way that the state of California suppresses the rights of the people. Now, in the state of California, as well as every other state, you have a judicial council. A judicial council are the ones that are supposed to hold the court, the judges, and their behaviors accountable. But these judicial council is made up of maybe 5 to 6 people, and many of them are related to the judges. So a lot of times the complaints on judges don't go any further. And this is why we have to, Black family, know the system of law. When you walk into those courtrooms, who is running the show? What is really happening? 90% of the people that work in the courtrooms don't have a law degree. And this is something that we must take to caution. A little bit of law goes a long way. So we're going to talk about California vexatious litigant and how that applies to Black politics. Now, as they said, the first vexatious litigant, I believe, was 1963. Currently, as of October 8th, 2021, there are 34,000 Californians who are on this vexatious litigation case list. And this list is about 98 pages long, and it is an official list that if you Google Judicial Council of California, that'll pull up this particular list. Now, this is the list where I was put on August 18th without my knowledge. Now, the reason why I wanted to go over vexatious litigant is because this prevents anybody, any Black person who wants to go into court to fight for their civil rights. This is sort of like a gag order that prevents you, or they try to prevent you from doing so. And so because this was current, we had drafted an arrest warrant for the person who had created that. And we spoke about him a little bit yesterday. Mark Ridley Thomas is currently the most powerful, one of the most powerful politicians in Los Angeles County. And the fact that I've been through the county council for 7 years into the lion's den, asking for resources for our youth, it has never happened. And so this vexatious litigation list that I'm on, and this is actually, if you can see, I know you can't see on radio, but on StreamYard, I'm holding up a portion of the vexatious litigation list where 3,400 people are on. I never had due process, just like Brother Biko and many of these are political prisoners of war, innocent bystanders, especially Blacks. It does not affect any other race but Blacks. When we are deemed effective in a way where we want to put together and change our construct, they either want to kill you, as we see with MLK and Malcolm. They want to disgrace you or discredit you. And this is one of the ways that the state of California has done for people fighting for civil rights. So I am actually honored to be forth with you. As a minister of justice, I take that very seriously because, Black family, I'm in the lion's den for us. I have a civil court hearing on November 8th. And if you are in Los Angeles, I encourage all my Black family, come down to Stanley Moss Courthouse, where we need to have witnesses of our civil rights injustices. And if you have a civil right discrimination case currently that's going on, please contact us. We want to hear from you. Want to give us a call at 646-478-4447. 646-478-4447. Black Power Radio, in the next couple of weeks, we want to really decipher how we're going to build this brand new government. And so, as you heard a little bit earlier before, vexatious litigant, the word vexatious means to be angered, means to be up in an uproar. Litigant means someone who wants to file a suit. So when they drafted this case together in the state of California, not too many people knew about what vexatious litigation was, including I. So when I was served this document, I said, okay, let me look into it. And when I researched vexatious litigant, Black family, it literally told me that it is a very serious charge, that if a judge calls someone for a hearing for a vexatious litigant, then they have to prove why they are filing cases or why they're advocating for cases. The thing is with me, I never had that hearing. I never had a chance to tell the judge. And if he did a little bit of research, he would have known the work that we have done in the last 7 years. In 2013, started a homeless shelter right here in Los Angeles County and focused on housing because I was going through it myself. They didn't care I had a doctorate, the title, none of that mattered. I was just a Black woman, and that deemed no respect. We got the last in services. We were talked down to instead of talking to. We were dismissed in many of these circles. So as a Black woman, we have a lot of discrimination that is current, that is happening right now, that is not being addressed. And this is something that we as Black family have to deal with ourselves. We have to learn how to uplift ourselves and know how to communicate. Because at the end of the day, when each of us have our own missions to accomplish, that encouragement from another Black sister is the best feeling in the world, when you are encouraged and when we lift each other up rather than backbiting and deception and just creating evil amongst each other for no reason, causing harm to our brothers and sisters simply because we lack the communication skills in order to say, I want to do better. I have a purpose. I don't want to just lay up and smoke and drink and party all day. I want to do something positive with my mind. And especially when we have children, we have to be extra careful on how we walk. But inevitable, it all turns to knowledge. When we look at whatever situation we have to go through, Black family, you've got to have the discipline to have to study that entity or that subject. We have to have that discipline to know, if I want to be into real estate, I have to know value. I have to know housing. I have to know terms. If I want to do social services, I need to be the best in that facet. If you want to be a mechanic, you got to know cars very well. But one profession that I've noticed in this injustice that we as Black people had to suffer for 400 years plus is the judicial system. And it is in that route, Black family, that they have found a loophole in that Constitution that binds us in the courts, that gives us no rights. So when we are locked up, when we are found dead, we are not even worthy for a fair trial or a hearing. So my background was filmmaking. I actually wanted to be a filmmaker. So being a doctor was not in my forefront. It was something that was necessary, especially because of the mental health in my community that I was born and raised in. You know, being born and raised in the hood, so to speak, and that's all you know, you either are broken or you become the best person you can be. You become stronger. And so that talent is what I wanted to do for our youth, and our youth in Los Angeles, because Hollywood is the eye of the world. You have thousands of people flocking here to the state of California to try to make it. And it's many of these young people that have to compromise, young ladies that have to sleep around, or young men that have to do unspeakable acts just for a role. It is a dog eat dog here in Hollywood. And that's why after COVID, you see a lot of things just shriveled up, just dried up. Entertainment is not as powerful as we think it is. Actually, Black family, entertainment is a distraction. Because when we think about the hours that some of us TV binge on like Netflix shows and stuff like that, we all have family members or some of us do it ourselves. We got to be real on how we really spend our time, right? So many of us that spend 6 hours on a show, that 6 hours is taken away from the time you could be learning the law. That 6 hours is taken away from the time you could be reading the scriptures. What does it say about my purpose? Am I really spending my time daily productively? It is very important that we ask this question back, family, because we have to change the way things are in our community more than ever before. We have done the marching, we have done the pep talk, we have done the meetings, we have done the negotiating. All of that has not worked because the majority of us that wants to change does not have that knowledge for us to get there. So what that happens is that many good groups fall asunder. But the real strong warriors that stay true to the end, that bring truth to power, will always rise up. And that's why I want to encourage us, Black family, that we must come together and really show up these time and dates that we want to set for you in the next couple of months as we rebuild the new Black Panther Party, as we rebuild the values of who we were originally as the Black Panther Party. Those values are still there. The values of feeding and creating WIC programs and housing, all of that is what they were afraid of. The oppressors were afraid of, and they did everything in their power to destroy it. Now it's up to us to say, you know what? As of this moment in time, I don't want to think that way. I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to go back to yesteryear. I want to learn how to own property and get back the land. I want to learn about these little laws that they are constantly using to keep my brother down. And if we solidarity use each of us in a group, just maybe 10 or 12 in your immediate circle, start off small. Start meeting, saying, this is what in our community that we need to change in this particular block, in this particular town. Because at the end of the day, when we come together, hopefully on December 10th and May 19th to the 21st, we want to have a 3-day form of excellence. Malcolm X Day will not be the same, I tell you again, Black family. 2022, we're going to have a brand new name, a brand new program, a brand new mentality for the real Panthers, for the real warriors who have been doing the footwork for 20 plus 30, 40 years. Now is the time that we're bringing all of that back, whether you're old or whether you're new, for us to bring us the best for the future Cubs. And I'm hoping that we have a platform for our youth coming up. I want to see some of our spoken word. I'm looking for dancers, actors, musicians, people who want to really bring the revolution to a different level. But before we do that, let's get back to vexatious litigant. Vexatious litigant, as I said before, is one of the very few ways that the state of California has used to suppress people who want to fight for rights. Now, in my particular case, one of the videos that I'm going to try and pull up is one of the meetings that I've attended. And we're going to actually have a full story concerning the civil rights in Los Angeles. Now, this particular date, the Board of Supervisors is a county entity. And in your state, either you live in a city or a county. Here in Los Angeles County, we have Los Angeles City. And that in itself is another entity. But the entire body of Los Angeles County, it covers 5 borders, such as Lancaster, Palmdale, Compton, Long Beach, Hiawatha. A lot of these cities that are world known, Watts, for example, And if you can, Sister Janae, I don't know if you're still on the line. I want to get that song California as a theme song with Dre and back in the day. I wanna hear that song in upcoming musical break. Now we will break in about 10 minutes as we wrap up Vexatious Litigant.
Can you put that back up on the screen, the spelling, because I'm using um I'm using the book that
Litigation is considered an abuse of the judicial process.
There you go.
okay.
Vexatious litigation.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, Mom. So vexation, as we met before, this is a law that's not used as often, but it is effective if you want to suppress your enemy. So as we were going to fight for funding, and this is a video that I'm going to probably remove one of them. I'm going to upload one of 6 videos of the Board of Supervisor board meeting where I was requesting funding for our youth program that we had, particularly homeless youth. We had 11 homeless kids that wrote their own plays and started to use performing arts as a way of mental health. And this is something that we want to take very seriously because music and entertainment actually can change a lot of our lives, right? Melody, it's a song that change your tune or favorite show that may lift your spirits. You go back to think about a song. How important is music in our life?
Oh man, music is the reason why we here. If you want to know the truth, uh, the
Right on.
the legends that the Prophet Muhammad said, "Well, salam," talk about the creation of Adam and how 3 times he refused the body. And
Right.
the first time he refused the body, he said, "There's no sound here. There's no there's no music. There's nothing like heaven here." So he gave us music. That was our first gift. So music is very important to us.
I lost you there for a second.
You did?
Yeah, the last minute we're just on stuck mode. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, the Prophet Muhammad tells of Adam and the creation and him refusing the body 3 times. The very first time he refused the body, he said there was no music here, there was no sound, there was nothing like heaven, harmony.
Right.
And he refused the body. He said, "No, I'm not going in there." And he
Serious.
went back to heaven, and Allah had to start all over again. So yeah, 3 times the
What's
body
up?
was refused, and music was the number one thing, the number one gift that was given to us.
Amen. Yeah, it was a powerful in the heavens. It was a powerful tool for us to communicate with the Most High. Okay, so there is a video. Thank you, Mama, for that. There is a video I just added on. Is there where I can click on it? This is the Board of Supervisors in 2018, where I think this may have been our 50th appearance in the last 2 years. They had it every Tuesday, so once a week. We were there every every week for 5 years straight. And all we did when we worked with some of our young people was mostly me there advocating for our youth. And it was very powerful when you have a lot of our young people that spoke up for themselves, but they were never given the request of funding or resources that they asked for. So this indictment that just came out is very important to know why it came out. It's really about greed. And this federal charges is very serious. So I want you to stay on top of this story, and we'll bring you live and direct current updates concerning the case of Mark Ridley Thomas. Mama Janae, Queen Janae, if you're there, this video here, want to play? It's a DJ.
I'm
Yes, I
back.
want to
Okay, which one?
Locker natural hair journey is oh so
the
rewarding, but can
Number
be extremely stressful when you start to
3.
consider what products to use. If that's you, then look no.
This we could play afterwards. That's the report for Jelani Day. So this is the board meeting
two.
video that I just added.
Okay, that's you. You want to play that one?
Yes. Good
Okay.
evening, board. My name is Reverend Dr. Mello Desire. And just warning, guys, it is mature audiences only. Mature audience, that's all I can say. Praise Allah. Born and raised South LA, Chumash ancestry. Since 2013, we gave you proposals, especially for District 1 and 2, particularly because our constituents are suffering in East LA and South LA the most. So in January 2013, I sent you one, February 2014, 2015, April, and December of 2016, and then the most recent model, 2017, of which we asked you maybe 12 times for a meeting. Celine Potato did not do so, and Kathleen Austria has lied to us in the last 4 years since 2013. I'm very disappointed that you now want to put this on the agenda for regulating cannabis, when cannabis is not the problem, liquor stores is not the problem. It's cutting the educational system, misappropriating funds, giving money to Danny Bakewell, to the local church pastors, but our kids in the street that's been asking for a center just like this. This is a model, live and direct, in front of you that was asking for $15,000. Startup cost is 2013. And instead of even meeting with us, Margaret Lee Thomas, you suck. You gave Kathleen Austria the hand, and she never ever read one proposal we sent to her, as she told me last week. Even a letter of support we asked since 2013, she never gave. This is ridiculous now that you put it on the agenda, that you want to do something about it. And then Olivia Vasquez, we asked for a headquarters in your district, Solis, that she said that Mark Ridley Thomas has to pay for our headquarters for our prevention center for use, for our teens who are suffering through depression because there's no resources. So forget about the cannabis and the liquor. Fund the programs we asked you to 2013, have a staff member that can read proposals, then we can talk business. But now this is...
Now, I want to say something to you, Reverend Dr. Mellow Desire.
What you want to say, boo-boo?
Your closing comments were inconsistent with your Reverend Doctor's status. Next speaker, please. Thank you.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pause it right there. If you are on the radio, at that moment, Mark Ridley Thomas took his finger and dismissed me like that. When he did that, I don't know what happened, ladies and gentlemen, but I just saw my life flash before me because I just came from a funeral of a 16-year-old that worked in juvenile detention hall with Mark Ridley Thomas. And instead of giving this young man, we're not going to mention his name or his family, but this was personal to me because I watched him grow up into a young man who wanted to do good in the community, but there was no resources. And this board of supervisors that had all the money, 39 billion of our county taxes went into these people. So then after he dismissed me with the finger, this happened. Grace.
You're forfeiting your opportunity to speak again. You're being disruptive. You will not. Let me just say this to you. You're disrupting the meeting. Ms. Desire, you will need to leave. You will need to leave, Sergeant.
So, Black family, I've done enough yelling for the rest of our lives, for every single one of us in that room. That was the lion's den, Black family. The Board of Supervisors is a location that we could utilize to tell 5 people who are over 4 million people. That is 10 million. LA County has 10 million constituents, LA City 4 million. LA County, 10 million people, 39 billion. Now, after COVID, that county funding doubled. So now there's about $70 billion, not million, Black family, $1 billion that's in the county that make money hand over fist. So if we know the budget, if we know what's running, where our money's going, we would indict a lot more politicians. And trust and believe, we have a lot more indictments coming off hot off the press. We don't play around here, Black family. Department of Justice for the new Black Panther Party is something that is going to have politicians accountable. And Mark Ridley Thomas, unfortunately, you had many, many opportunities to do the right thing by your community that trusted you, that supported you. You ran for city council, you ran for assemblyman, you ran for county board of supervisors. You are a career politician. And for that is why you need to go to jail. Directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. I want you in exchange for Brother Biko, who is in there for really fighting for his community, while you use our tax money to put your boy and made a bribe to USC. Now, let me tell you a little bit about USC. USC is just like Howard University. It is ran by the elite. And they have they have an endowment of about $6 billion. Okay, it's not a whole lot, but $6 billion, you can do quite a bit. And they are locked in to gentrification. They are buying housing structures left and right. These affordable housings that used to be for Black families are now for the immigrants coming in, the money makers, the Asians. And I tell you, there's a lot of Asian power right here in Los Angeles. You cannot do nothing without China's permission. That includes the movie industry, you name it. So with that being said, Black family, we have to get on the ball on how do we change our government. And if you're listening to Black Power Radio Sunday and Monday nights, you will be on the first step to the right direction of getting back to where we were, because we're going to disseminate information to you, Black family. Doesn't matter who's listening. We know the opposition is listening, but we are going to disseminate the necessary information to you for you to make a conscious decision on what your purpose is and how to be effective in the Black Power movement. That's right, Black fam, Black Power.
Just Black Power, Black Power. That is just a phenomenal job you've been doing out there in California. Boots on the ground, fighting for justice.
Black Power,
I mean,
yes,
it's
man.
just a never-ending story, people. When are we going to get on board with the program? Get with the program.
Right.
Get active in your community. Go to your community board member. What do you call it?
City council meeting. And in your town, it's very different. There's so many meetings, but we can start off with your local town hall meeting. Sometimes they have a neighborhood council. That's the I would say the more direct impersonal meetings. Then after, you would have your city council. So if you live in a city, let's say of Dallas, Texas, your Dallas council meeting, they should have a local meeting as well as a district meeting. I don't know how Dallas and other cities are broken out, but here in Los Angeles, you have your city council meetings, which they meet 3 times a week. That would be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then you have the county, which is the bigger spectrum. And I wish I would have a map. Next time I'll be more virtual of LA County. And that only meets once a week. Now, since COVID, everything was shut down. And guess what, Black family? Everything is online, right? Everything is online. Right. Zoom, WebEx, Toon, you name it. Everything is literally online. And the reason why that is not helpful is because they can cut you off. They cannot call on you. A lot of technical stuff has been happening at these city council meetings. which is why I love when it's in person. So now the city of Compton, if you are familiar with Compton politics, the city of Compton just reopened their city council meeting in person. But what happened yesterday, last week's meeting, that they shut off the microphones. And Emma Sharif is the mayor of Compton right now, and it's in shambles. On Wednesday, on Wednesday, Black Family, there's like a little scandal that happened in Compton with the election that happened, and there's a hearing actually this Wednesday that I'll be updating with you because I will be there. And the elections right now is happening with a first Latino. His name is Isaac Galvin. He's the first Latino to run for and to be a county councilman for Compton, but he had illegally used votes from other people from other towns that don't live there. And the reason why I know this is because some of them were our kids that he promised to pay them a couple of $100s for them to mess up the votes. And this is a recent Compton elections. So when I tell you we got to do better, Black Family, we got to have a brand new everything. The politics are just smelly from top to bottom, and it's not going to do us any good. Still being underneath, right?
Well,
Yeah, I was just
you
sitting
have
here
brothers.
thinking yesterday. Oh, go ahead, mother. Go ahead.
Yeah, you have
I'm
brothers
sorry.
out there that are Moors.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. Like I said, Dr. Huey P. Newton told us that we should carry this book with us at all times. I know it's a big book.
Black law, yes.
But this
I agree.
book has every law that they have ever written,
Right on.
every definition for every term that they use, and you need to know it.
Right.
These are my Moorish papers, and I charge you brothers out there who are Moors.
Sing it, Mom.
The Beta Haja El Bay, okay? And I'm charging you brothers out there who are Moors to get up and go to these city council meetings and start spouting off the law.
There you go.
Because this law that she's talking about is a malicious law.
That's right.
Unconstitutional.
Right.
Unjust law is no law at all. So what are you doing, brothers? This is what you're supposed to be doing, Moors. This sister shouldn't have to be coming up here complaining about somebody not representing the law and knowing the law. Okay? So when I see people like Tahaka Bay and all of these people on here talking about their Moors and they do this and they do that, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? The codes are clear. Hammurabi's codes are clear. You must service the people when it comes to law. That is your job. That is why you carry this paper. I carry this paper into court. Whenever I go to court, I carry this paper into court.
Mama, can you read it for us? Is it okay? Can you read it?
Yes, it says the Moorish Council of National International Affairs, Moorish American Permanent Mission, 1300 Fifth Avenue Suite, number 5G, New York, 10037. And then there's a phone number there, which I won't give out. Okay. To all concerned, Islam, may the peace and blessings of our Creator, to whom all praises are due, be upon you in your understanding in resolving this subject matter. May it be resolved that the name Melody Yvette Summers Hill has been legally reclaimed without due process of the Union Society to Debata Haja El Bay, in according with the rule and the usage of the Moorish American Embassy, with its own customary laws and language, with power and authority deriving from the Moorish Great Seal, Zodiac Constitution and Amendment 9 of the United States Constitution, along with Article 15, Section 2 of the International Law, United Nations, December 10th, 1948, Moorish American Diplomatic Assembly of 1987, Article 1, Section 4D, registered with the Department of Congress. This legal document is not bona fide without Council's original signature and seal or embassy. You see that?
Wow.
The
That's
seal,
powerful.
the seal
Yes.
is over here. Okay.
Okay.
And this is Nakim Bey. Nakim Bey is the head of the Moorish Science Temple here in New York City.
Okay.
Now, these brothers are responsible for maintaining the law in the Black community.
That's right.
They know it back and forth. Believe me when I tell you, when you get out them classes, you know what you're supposed to know about the law. That's why when you see these brothers confronted by the police, they start rattling off the law and tell them, you have no authority over me, first of all, because I am not who you say I am. I am a citizen of Morocco, okay? So, and this is Morocco, okay? So you don't have authority here, I do. So this Black man that you see right there sitting before you, let me let you know, he's a Mason. He goes through the Masonic Lodge. That's the only way they can get to be politicians. Any Masonic Lodge has George Washington in the front. The one on 24th Street has a gold statue of George Washington. When you become a 33 and a third degree Mason, they give you this book. This is the Holy Quran by Maulana Muhammad Ali. This is my tattered, beat up copy. I had a good copy, but it grew legs. Okay. So this is what you need to arm yourselves with, brothers and sisters, knowledge. There is nothing better for you to arm yourself with. All of those things that the brother was talking about is in these books, is in the law books. Seditious libel. Seditious libel was decided in stare decisis to be illegal. And under the Commonwealth law, it cannot be practiced in this country.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to pull this up.
You're facing a lot of rhetoric because you don't know the law. So they could tell you anything.
And you know what, Mama? And I'm so glad you mentioned that because we do have a lot of Moors out here. And I've reached out to them. I even went to the Moorish Science Temple on Normandy. There's a local one here. And the thing is, they're not working together because they're not admitting that they're not as knowledgeable as they perceive to be. I kid you not. As I'm walking by, there was this brother, and he told me he was a Moor. I think his last name was Bell Love L or something like that. And he has family.
There's only two names. There's only two names in Moor.
Okay.
It's L.
Yes.
Bay.
And Bay.
L is the name of Haja.
Okay.
Okay. And Bay is the last name of Ibrahim.
Okay.
So that's why when we take the oath, you can choose either name, L or Bay, or you can choose both, like I did. I chose both. I chose El Bay. El to represent Hajat, the Egyptian, comes first for me. And Bay is Ibrahim. He comes second. His religion comes second behind my sister. Okay? So you have to understand, this is why we are always caught up in stuff. It's because we don't know the law. And we have brothers walking around here professing to be things that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
That man sitting in that seat, if you go to any Masonic lodge and lodge a complaint against him, they will have to bring him up before a tribunal
Yes. That's
because he is definitely not following Prince Hall. Not when he's sitting there talking about you're out of order, when all you're talking about is the distraction that they're using to arrest people rather than trying to do something in the community to help the children.
Mhm.
And a youth center is all you're asking for. It's not like you're asking for a university to be built or a campus or something. You're
Well,
just
now I
asking
am.
for a
Okay.
place to hang out. Yeah,
Shit. Now I am. We're gonna build hospitals, youth
of course.
centers, Oh, forget it. We're gonna build everything now because I'm telling you, it's we give you enough chances, and 7 years I think was more than enough the right way. And what you saw was a fraction of what we did behind the scenes. This was 5 years of paperwork. As I said before, after proposal, just like the Jews do, just like the other cats that they fund, the Hispanic contractors. I'm watching all of these other people who don't even have a plan, Black family, that are getting contracts hand over foot. And when that indictment handed down, and then Marilyn Flynn is involved in this too, because he was the dean that was bought off by Mark Ridley Thomas to give his son a degree
Yeah.
from USC social work. USC social work, that's where all of these caseworkers graduate from, either UCLA or USC. That's where our poverty pimps come from. Real
I
talk.
have to laugh. I have to laugh because
Right.
Sister Angela is a professor of political science in USC.
Yes, they're right.
She's been there for years. In fact, she did her own litigation, won her case, and they had to reinstate her after they tried to say that she assisted Jonathan Jackson in the shooting of the judges and the juries back when Jonathan took those hostages.
Oh, okay.
Him and Christmas. Yeah. They
Mm.
said that, oh, she had a gun in her afro. Imagine that. Like I was like,
I don't even.
I was like,
That must be
Oh
a strong
wow.
ass. Lord, they will
so
say anything. My God.
Angela had to,
But they will
Angela had
accuse
to
us of
escape.
anything if they think they can get away with it. They will.
That,
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. This is the same thing.
yeah.
They misuse the law, and
Yeah.
they
Don't
tell you
challenge
a
it. I
piece of
see.
it so that think that they know what they're talking about. But when you go back and you look up the law and you read it
That's just
yourself,
sad.
you'll see the
I
pieces
mean, this
Preach,
is what
mama.
we need to be teaching our children.
You-
My computer
That part.
keeps
yes,
freezing up.
that
My
what you
computer,
said.
yeah, it
Yes, we need
You
to
computer.
need
be
to
teaching our
repeat what
children.
you just said, Mama, please. Before we go to a musical break, there's a video I put in.
Freezing.
If you could play that, Queen Janae, I put a video in. If you want to play that after, so we can come back and finish the rest of. We have 1 hour left to finish up. Black Power Radio.
Yeah.
You're here tuning in Monday nights with Sisters of the Panther Movement, and we got Queen Mama Melody, and we got Chairwoman Queen Janae, and it just got me, Mellow Desire.
Yes.
And together we are a triple threat. So please come in, call
Oh
on
no,
in.
you Dr.
We are your
Mello.
angels, Black family. So call on in. We want to hear from you.
Lock Wishes is a black-owned company that has created an
What's that
all-natural
name?
product line for
Yes,
locked
you
and loose
must
natural
press
No, the other
items.
number
one.
The
one
Lock
to
Wishes
get
team
in
Not
the
this
works
one.
hard to
queue.
ensure that their products are
We
free of
got
parabens,
about
phthalates,
5 colors. Not that one.
G
Okay,
synthetics,
which
and other
one? The
toxins
one
you
with the
wouldn't
guy
find in
with
other
the face?
products. Best of all, the products
This is actually
Not that
Jelani
one.
Day.
At the University of California at Los Angeles, 2 Black Panthers
Okay.
were shot to
Oh,
death during a black
damn, that
student
No,
wasn't
that's
it.
shooting on the campus last.
Yeah.
That's the
that wasn't
one
it.
with
That's another one.
Higgins that you was trying to get last night.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm going to
Right.
put it up
You
right
want
now.
to play that?
No, that one. It was
Okay.
just a music video. I'm going to pull it up right now. Sorry, Black family. We need our tech men out here. Where are they at? Everyone's sleeping tonight. We all get it. We'll get it together.
Come on, Black family.
Yeah.
Y'all need to come in here with some of this knowledge. I know you Moors out there listening. I know all of y'all who listen to this show. Y'all don't
Right?
want me to stop posting your pictures up, do you?
I think you probably need to do that.
I'm
Wake them up a bit.
gonna start posting their pictures up on my radio show.
Put them on blast.
You hiding.
Put them on blast. That's right.
Yeah.
Now I don't know where my where it went, but T.Y.
Okay, well, we
Savage.
can take a music break on the radio. We're gonna play a little
Yeah.
something. Let's see. Play a little something on the radio.
Can we get one of them slow drag love songs?
Yeah, actually, it's a new one from T.Y. Savage. I don't know if you've heard that song, Somebody's Son.
I know. I'm still stuck in the 60s when it
Somebody.
comes to love songs. I really do.
Okay, I got it. I'm gonna pull it up. Play this one. Are you playing that one already, Em?
I'm playing one already.
Okay.
Something that Akbar had on. I don't know. I was trying to change it, but I can't figure out how to do it.
Take it one step
I
at a
don't know
time.
what that.
But when we come back, to upload,
I got two computers. Like I got two laptops in front of me right now, so I'm like, on this one end out, we're trying to figure it out.
You got it. You
Oh, I
got
don't
it.
know what that is.
What's playing right now?
I'm not even gonna.
Yes.
So how about that?
QB and
Okay.
steps. Yes, go ahead.
Ooh, child. This is what we need to hear
Child.
from. Ooh, child.
Yes. Child.
It's got to.
It will.
I swear these people, they cuckoo.
I don't know what Steve.
I'm gonna take a bathroom break. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll take you off. You come back when you later. Some days are gonna be brighter. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Bye. She's back. Okay.
I am
All
back.
right. Welcome back.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we are back. We are back live. It's like on the radio, on Black Power Radio. We're also live streaming on Facebook, the Black Power Hour and the Black Power Radio Show tonight. We want to wish best wishes to our shaky man Akbar and Sister
Yay!
Indigo on their wedding nuptials. Yay!
Yes.
So that's why we're holding
Here
it
comes
down.
the bride.
They got to come through on all ends. I had to cater the
Yeah.
wedding and do the radio show. Look,
she
all
was
in the same day.
she even made the wedding dress too.
No, I
She
didn't
was
make the
one
dress.
star.
It was
Oh,
beautiful
you
though.
didn't make the
Yes,
dress.
but we want to just thank them and wish them the best on their wedding union. It was a beautiful ceremony. They got married in the Islamic way, which is so much more peaceful, less stress, less drama. It was just right on point,
It
And
was
I just love
beautiful.
being a part of
Yes.
his wedding ceremony with him. He has a beautiful bride. She has a beautiful spirit. She knows all
Yes.
about the sacrifices that he's made over the years for the new Black Panther Party and being a
Mhm.
revolutionary. And
That's
that's
right.
what the main thing you need to know about being a revolutionary is you got to be with somebody that understands what you're doing and why you're doing it and who you're doing it for. You know, because it ain't
Right.
easy to be all over the country, up and down the road, back and forth. It's a lonely highway, ain't it, Mama?
Yes, it
Well, your
is.
mother can tell you about it. It's a lonely highway.
Let me
I'm
tell
telling
Sure
you,
you,
I
is.
went
when I
through it.
was when I was driving back from Carolina, I was like, "Yo, this is too much. Bring the pedal
Yeah,
to the metal."
God
we
bless you.
just
Yep. Gotta persevere.
Yes.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
we've been all over the country, but we do it because we love our people, and I can't say that about Shaky Man Aqua. He loves his people. He loves revolution. He is Black Power. He's the epitome of what Black Power stands for through the test of times. He's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but nobody deserves to, not have a peaceful, somebody peaceful in their life. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of peace, a little bit of comfort, a little bit of something that feels like home, regardless of how hard we have to fight out here in the struggle. For
Right.
for poor Black and freedom people. It's a
Yeah.
daily struggle. I have seen him get up and no matter what, no matter how hard we say go sit down, go get some rest, go take a nap, go do whatever.
It
He
don't
just
work.
keeps going. I don't know how he do it.
You stuck, Janae.
He just keeps
You
going
done
on. Now his
froze.
wife, I said, Lord, thank you, Jesus. Somebody sent you a wife. But he found a partner that can take care of him now and make sure that he gets some rest and make sure that he's taken well care of. Because like I said, it's a lonely highway. What's that song? I found love on a lonely highway. That's how you got to look at it. You got to find love where you can sometimes. But thank God that he found the woman of his dreams, and a woman that wants to be with him no matter what. Because she just said she asked God for him, and she just thanked God she want to be with him for the rest of her life. So I'm very happy
Mhm.
for them. Very happy for them. Okay, we got a couple people online callers. If you want to join the show, just press one to get in the host queue. We're gonna have. It says we only got a couple minutes left on Black Power Radio, but we're gonna keep going. I think that was my fault. I only put in a 90-minute show, but if you do want to come in and ask some questions, just press one. I'm not gonna call
You
nobody
can
out.
continue.
Yeah,
A
that's
black
what I'm
They're
about
not
to
gonna
do.
cut you off. The
Okay,
Black Power Black Power sister. They're not gonna cut
okay,
you off. You can
okay,
do it all the way up to the next hour.
okay. Does it just say stream left 5 minutes over here?
Just keep
So
talking. It'll keep recording.
okay, okay. All right. So Dr. Mello, what's the next segment? Where we going now? We going somewhere? Oh, we can't hear you.
What's going
Okay, okay.
on? I'm up here talking to the air. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, so the next segment we have is Jelani Day. We wanted to touch a little bit about exactly the August harvesting and how serious this is to the Black community. How many, I believe there was two instances. There was another young man who was rolled up in a gym mat with dreads, I believe in
Yeah,
Florida. He also was a healthy young man, but also organs were missing.
Yeah, he's Malik had that case. Malik went
Oh,
down there. I have the pictures of them at the grave site.
mm.
Uh, they
Oh
they
wow.
they
Okay.
found him rolled up in a
Yeah.
mat, and they didn't do an autopsy. They just buried him. Malik had the
Hmm.
body exhumed, and once the
Okay.
body was exhumed, that's when they found out the baby had newspaper stuffed inside where his organs should have been. His mama
Right.
went wild. His mama went wild. You hear me? Malik couldn't contain this woman. She was
Yeah.
so stricken with grief. But
Mhm.
the organ harvesting is not just here in
Right. It's
America.
right. It's
Uh,
worldwide. Hmm.
it's really big in Libya since
Mm.
Gaddafi's death. Well, I say his murder, not his death. But now they are buying African men for
Hmm.
$200 who are trying to go between Libya and Europe because that's the Mediterranean. Once they get across, they're in Europe. So Libya's been a port for the Africans to use to escape to Europe for years. Gaddafi permitted it. As soon as they started doing this on their own, guess what happens? The American government steps in
Right.
and makes them return these people to Libya, where they
Mm.
are sold into slavery and their organs are removed one by one while they're still alive, surgically
Yes.
removed
Right.
until they're dead.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's
this is a
horrible.
worldwide thing.
Yeah, and we need to be precautious of that because when we sign, if you do sign organ donor on your DMV card or your don't do that.
Yeah,
We
don't
don't
sign the back of your driver's license ever.
ever
don't.
Ever.
because that gives them free license to go seek you out. And if I say you didn't see the movie Get Out, you better go watch it tonight
That's
because they are seriously hunting you down. Now, can we play this video now? This is Philip Scott from African Diaspora. Very good channel, very good brother. A lot of important information, such as Boyce Watkins, too. A couple of our favorites that you need to listen to from time to time to hear news that you will never ever hear on other Black media platforms. So I'm trying to.
Missing black people, how black people come up missing a lot. And no one really cares. You know why they don't care? Because black people's lives aren't valued in this country. You understand? So that's done by design. Because if you can devalue the life of black people, no one will care if you're missing. No one will care if something going on with you, if you're not educated right, if you're not eating right, if you're not having the right health care. It's all done by design. Everything in this white supremacist Babylon system is used to devalue the life of black people, whether it's the police, whether it's the media, whether it's the court system, entertainment, sports. It don't matter what it is. The movie industry is always going to devalue the life of black people because they have this little thing they want you to be is more so a court jester and maybe just a worker, and that's it. Other than that, your life is expendable. Okay? So when people talk about organ harvesting, some people want to say, "Oh, well, that's kind of conspiracy theory." No, it's not. Now, before I get into talking about Jelani Day, let's look at two stories where the FBI and police got involved with finding body parts in warehouses. Let's go ahead and roll those two clips.
Described as unsettling, but it sounds a whole lot worse. One FBI agent revealing what it was really like inside the Phoenix body donation facility. In 2014, he saw everything from buckets of heads, arms, and legs to coolers filled with severed penises when the FBI raided the building.
Confused and angry. We thought this was going to be doing some good.
He even spotted a smaller head sewn onto a larger torso in a, quote, Frankenstein manner.
It wasn't a choice we made. It wasn't a choice any of the families made.
Body parts piled on top of each other inside Biological Resource Center, where families donated their loved ones for medical research.
Discoveries of sickness and disease, maybe come up with a cure.
Some say the company violated everything they promised.
Tragedy that's never resolved, and it just keeps going on and deeper.
The limbs, according to that agent, with no apparent identification. The company sued months after the FBI raided families claiming their loved ones weren't treated with dignity and respect, a promise written on their own consent forms. The company also accused of selling body parts for profit after saying they'd only use the parts they needed and would cremate the ones they didn't and return them. A torso with a head apparently went for $2,400. A leg about $1,100. They'd even sell knees and feet alone for under $500.
Why were you stockpiling hundreds of human body parts here, sir? That's Art Rathburn. And remember
devil.
his business 13 months ago? For
Straight
2
up.
days, federal investigators dressed in hazmat suits removed body parts of 1,000 different people. Arms, legs, heads cut up and kept on ice, not embalmed, so they would be fresh for the black market. Today, the rundown warehouse on Detroit's east side is shuttered and up for sale. Sources say Rathburn's seized records led them to the Chicago area today, a business called Biological Resource Center in Rosemont. It's
What's
difficult
going on,
to see from the
Chicago?
outside, but sources say the hazmat suits and raid are underway on the 6th floor of this office building. The same paper trail led investigators to Biological Resource Center in Phoenix last January, and another raid removing body parts and corpses. There were also ties to similar businesses in Las Vegas. Since these dealt directly with the public, families were left without answers. Julie donated her husband Steve's body and was promised his cremated remains back in a month.
Confused and angry. We thought this was going to be doing some good. Yet it doesn't sound like it is.
What do you say to all those families who had no idea their loved ones were in here? Michigan pulled Art Rathburn's license last year after our reporting, even though they were...
You're more in danger here, okay, than you would ever be sometime other places, just to keep it real with you. Now, because you've seen that the FBI have been busting body part mills in the United States, okay, and they can't identify who these people are, allegedly, let's get into our brother Jelani Day. So they talk about the investigation to the death of the Illinois grad student and aspiring doctor Jelani Day continued, and authorities have said that they see the circumstances as unusual. They say the mystery surrounding his death grows. They say as his family has said that they suspect foul play. They say amid the investigation, a recent report came out that Jelani's body had no organs when it was found. Now, a report by the Chicago Sun-Times has stated that Day's corpse had no eyeballs. Listen to this. No eyeballs. It had only sockets. The body was reportedly missing its front, top, and bottom teeth. An autopsy performed by a private forensic pathologist suggested that the jawbone had been sawed out. Listen to this. Day's family and the attorney has said they could not find no brain, no liver, no spleen, no organs. And according to the pathology report, the organs were completely liquefied. The genitalia was unidentifiable. Now, attorney Hallie M. Benzer, that she said that they were seeking scientific explanations for the severity of the decomposed body of Day. They say before Day's body was discovered, his mother expressed her distress because of the limited coverage of their son's case. Now, Carmen Day said, I was very frustrated with the fact that Jelani hadn't been getting the coverage. And Jelani would not get the coverage because, once again, our lives don't matter and our lives aren't valued. It's going to take black media to start covering this. And it's cool, me and all of y'all. We have to start covering these stories when black people going missing. If you can start anywhere, just in your area or something that people just need to find out about, right? Now, they said Jelani had been missing for 24 days, and she said it appears that help has ceased. She said she was imploring and pleading and was asking the police to still pay attention and look for my son. That's what she was saying. Now they said that she cited Gabby Petito's case and added her face is plastered everywhere and the FBI is involved. And I don't understand why Jelani doesn't get the same coverage. Jelani doesn't get the same attention. Once again, Gabby is white. Your son is black. When have you ever seen them be so in a hurry to find a black person? Never. Okay? So they say the Illinois State University student went missing on August 25th. They say, but only gained attention months later after the massive interest in the case of Gabby Petito. And it depends on how they look or whatever. They prime targets. Black women, same profile. Prime targets for that, or to go into sex trafficking. They try to get black. Why would they go after black people? Because the FBI doesn't care. Local police don't care. Nobody cares, right? We know this. So these folks that are rich, that will want organs. Now, I spoke to one sister that worked in a hospital where they will have the list at, right? So she said that on that list, you'll see a name come on the list. People be waiting for years for a transplant. Then all of a sudden, overnight, this person's name go from the bottom to the top automatically. Mysteriously, people have been waiting years to get a heart or maybe whatever they need. Just like this, they get an organ the moment they get up to the top. Where they getting them from? Where everybody else are waiting for years. You don't believe me? David Rockefeller. Let's use him.
Yep.
He died at the age of 101 years old. You can look it up.
Right.
You know how many heart transplants he had?
7.
You know how many? Now, people can't even get one a lot of times. This guy had 7.
Right.
Where did 7 hearts come from? Where do they come from?
Right.
Most people can't even get one half of the time. Some people die waiting for a transplant. And this dude got 7? Where they come from?
They kicked him
A lot
out.
of these missing black folks that's popping up. You don't know where they at. They go to poor areas. Another thing they're doing. You know why Pookie and Ray Ray a lot of times are allowed to just kill up the place and the police won't do nothing unless they're ready to gentrify? Another thing that's been done, and a funeral home director had exposed this a while back, but it wasn't put out there like that. He said that what they do is when those bodies are brought in to those funeral homes of black people, they have people that want those body parts from his. They want the organs. They want everything. And they're like, well, shoot, I mean, I can make this extra money. I can sell it. Hey, let me make this money real quick. We just burying them anyway. Why don't I bury them with all them parts? And I can make this lick on top of the insurance money I'm making. That's going on. Another thing that's going on as well. I'm not a fan of clubs. I don't like them. Because a lot of evil go on in clubs too.
That's
Some
right.
of you brothers, y'all better be hip to this too. Them organ traffickers be watching and peeping and want to say target one of y'all. So they employ these little women. They may even employ some of these IG girls to come at you and say, hey, look, put this in his drink. I'll give you $20,000. You know, make him think you're going to be with him. Go back to the room with him, whatever.
Listen
you know,
up,
if you got to do something with him, you got to. But make sure that he takes his drink. And then we'll give you the money and we take him from there. Right? You have some dirty and grimy females out here. And it's very easy to get you men that way with these little women. Because you think these traffickers want to fight with you to try to get you a lot of times. So sometimes it could be that they getting women to work with them. How many times women have done things to set dudes up for Pookie and Ray Ray? You understand? I know it's one brother. He went to South by Southwest. I'm not going to mention his name. And he went to talk to someone and turned back around and grabbed his drink that quick. And he went to the restroom and he said he lost all control of his body. Now, because of my other homeboy that was with him to say, where he went? Why he taking so long? Went to check on him. He found him and he went and put him, make sure he got to the hospital or whatever. He couldn't see. He couldn't do nothing. It took him a while to even get his sight back after months. Now, who's to say that he wasn't going to be set up for human organ harvesting? He felt the description, young man, in shape, tall, prime of his life, black man, right? What I'm saying is y'all have to be careful of your surroundings. Like I said, I don't like nightclubs at all. Some of y'all love them nightclubs, and that's a prime example place for a lot of those things to happen. A lot of you women, you need to practice your Second Amendment rights. because these jokers expect you not to be able to protect yourself. You need to get armed, learn how to use those firearms. Listen, even if you got a husband, he may not be around you all the time, especially in some of those neighborhoods like that. And let me tell you something else. Pookie and Ray Ray also could work with the traffickers, because if they give Pookie and Ray Ray a little money and say, hey, could you kidnap that person for me and just give them to me? They'll do that. Man, y'all don't understand how evil and dirty people in our own community could be, and them folks, how they work. You saw in that clip they were talking about how different body parts go for certain amounts of money.
Yes.
The Klan back in the day, lock a brother up and let him go at 2 o'clock in the morning and got the Klan out there waiting on him. If you think if they wasn't doing it back then, they're not doing it now.
Right.
Pulling the brother over and taking him and say, all right, you can get out, you can leave here. And then taking off, and then they come string this brother up. Come on now. Every single time these brothers are even lynched, it's never like a fight for the life. It's never a fight. Have you noticed that? Because them police is involved, and them police and them white supremacist groups.
Yes.
Sure is. They sure is.
I'm not saying it's just scary. I'm telling you the reality of what you're dealing with. We live in a freaking war zone, black people.
Yes, we do.
That's why I felt so at peace in Turkey. When I go to Kenya, I'm at peace. Ethiopia, I'm at peace, because I ain't around these devils.
Sure did go to Turkey.
You don't even see them.
This is the only way they know how to be.
Right.
And we are the targets. No other group come over here and is targeted like the way we are targeted. They want our organs. They don't want nobody else's.
Told you. Get out.
Well, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about that. I want you to really think about this. This is why.
All right. So what you say, Mom?
Because they want our organs, you got to understand why. The majority of West Africans have O positive or O negative blood, universal donors. So your organs can fit anybody.
Right. Right.
We were specially picked, you understand me, to be here. Okay, they didn't take the East Africans. They didn't take the South Africans. None of them have the same blood type we have. We have O positive blood, and a lot of us have sickle cell and sickle cell trait, which fights malaria.
I know a lot of family that have sickle cell. Yeah.
Right. So you're immune to malaria. This is why they brought us over here, because we were immune to the malaria of the South. When to pick the cotton, they needed us to pick the cotton because we weren't dying like the Native American, the brown skinned brothers. Okay?
Yeah, we were resilient. Yep.
So we are the universal donors, and that's why when you go to the hospital and they tell you your blood type, you make sure you keep a record of it. Because once you sign the back of your card on your driver's license saying that and a lot of people sign it and don't even know what they're signing.
Right.
You don't have to sign that card. They will not resuscitate you in the hospital if your organs are compatible with some rich white person's son, daughter, or them in the hospital.
That's what they just said with Rockefeller. I didn't know that. 7 transplants.
He went to Peru to get number 8, and the Peru people they they kicked him out of Peru. They called him a vampire. They said that he was just down there to steal bodies, and they kicked him out. They told him he couldn't stay in Peru, and he died 3 days later. He died 3 days later because he couldn't get that heart that he needed. But guess what he died of, which was just poetic justice.
What?
Calcified brain. His brain turned into a calcium deposit. Whether his heart was working.
Won't God do it?
I'm telling you.
Won't he do it? Look, that's what I said.
Look at God. I'm telling you. Turn his brain into
Won't he do it?
A rock.
I tell you, I don't wish death on nobody, but evil, I ain't got no shame. You go to what you put out. You die the same painful death. Yep. That's right. Evil's on there. So that was an eye-opener for us to know what happened with Jelani Day. it wasn't enough for this young black aspiring doctor just to be dead, but now we see why that it took so long for them to report it. Now, remember in this story, one of the significant turning points for Carmen Bowden, the mom, is that she said that when they called her to tell her about the dental work that they found was a match for their son, they were getting an attitude with her, stating that, don't you want us to identify your son or not? And the fact that his jawline was sewn out is very significant of what they were trying to do. And the same thing with, a lot of people say conspiracy theories, but I don't do conspiracies. Okay. But Jennifer Hudson, when her family was killed, the nephew, I think he was 7 or 8, he was missing. He was missing, and when they found him in the van, all his blood was drained and organs gone. Now, a lot of this wasn't reported in the mainstream media. I remember seeing it at one news article, and it was an underground newspaper, and it revealed everything about the details of the nephew, of Jennifer Hudson's family. These are the things that we have to understand. The way that this country, the elites can stay on top is through blood sacrifice, is through pedophilia. Yeah. This is not a secret, so to speak. So when we have that type of evil, and the judge that worked with Mark Ridley Thomas is engaged in all that. As a matter of fact, he is direct friends with the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation. So I'm up against these real live demons.
It's an echo.
I hate hearing the sound of my voice. Do I sound like that?
Yes, you're right. Because here in New York, okay, I tell people the reason why George Bush was able to get reelected is because he made a human sacrifice out of those people in the World Trade Center. Okay. 34,000 people.
That's right.
Okay. That was his human sacrifice. Okay. And Bin Laden and George Bush grew up together. They were kids playing in the White House. I have the book called The Saudis. I have a picture of them. Okay. When his father came to America, he went to go see George Bush Sr., and George Bush Sr. sold him his first jet. He sold him a old Air Force One.
Okay. Not the sneakers.
Very significant that it was a jet that was sold, and that it was 2 jets that were used to bring those buildings down. Now, those buildings, if you didn't work there, you didn't know this, but I worked in the building, so I do know they had dynamite in the building from the 72nd floor. You couldn't go up to the 72nd floor by elevator. You had to get out at the 71st floor and walk up the staircase to the 72nd floor, and that was, at the time, was the senator's office.
Okay.
That was the state senator's office, the 72nd floor.
Okay.
So when they hit that building, they took out all of those human beings for human sacrifice. There were 600 Osawaski Jews that did not show up for work that day. And they called their favorite people, their favorite black people, now, let me tell you, called them and said, get out the building now.
Let's see.
And you can see, brothers and sisters, I painted the picture.
Bones and biscuits.
Running out the building, scattered. Okay? But that is what they do. Blood sacrifices. And here in New York, they serve human blood.
Yeah.
Certain restaurants. If you go in the restaurant and the wine glasses are upside down, get out. I'm not making fun of the movie, but I'm just telling you, get out. Because they are drinking human blood in that place. That's their symbol.
Wow. So when the glass is turned, I just thought it was a dishwashing technique to let the glass dry.
No, sweetie. The wine
Wow.
glasses are turned upside down. It's time to go home. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here first.
Yeah,
Black
you
Power
heard it
Radio.
here on Black Power Radio tonight.
That's
Live
right.
and direct. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that tidbit. So, inevitable, we're going to keep a watch to see the results of Jelani Day's case. If we have a breakthrough of any kind, we will let you know. But for now, just like Dirk Tillotson, San Diego educator that was killed, home invasion a week and a half ago in his home. These people, we don't want to ever forget them. So we'll always try to bring up their stories, their spirits, so we can have a conversation and get some answers. So this is what we do right here, Department of Justice. Black Power.
Okay.
Black Power.
Black
All right.
Let's get one more music break, and then we're gonna wrap it up for tonight, ladies. I am
Before some
tired.
music break, let's get this in. I actually can put in a video here. I want you to play this one. I'm going to bring it in. Oh, hey, share.
Well, you know our people at home can't see the video, but they can hear the music.
Oh, can they? Okay, that's all I need to know.
If anybody wants to join in, I see a couple people out there on Blog Talk Radio. Just press 1 and we'll bring you in on the show. You can give your consultation or just let us know how we're doing tonight. We got the ladies holding it down from the east and the west coast. Just let us know. Black Power.
All right, screw it. I can't upload it. It's just not my night tonight. So go home with your.
So go ahead with the music.
We'll do it next Sunday.
Here we go. Let's talk about what these white folks doing to us. Okay.
Yes. We're gonna wrap up. I want to do a little scripture before we close. A little reading of the word
for our kids out there in Howard. You know that
Yes.
it's cold tonight, and then babies are sleeping outside. And
Right.
this is just not right. I just don't understand why you parents are not there with your kids. I would be there knocking down Howard's door for $50,000. Are you joking?
Right. That's ridiculous.
We're playing backstabbers right now.
Hey, that's what you need.
That's what's going on.
Okay.
Backstab. What they do?
Smile in your face.
They want to take your place.
Your face.
And they do.
I love them classics, boy. They tell truth to power.
Yes, ma'am. They was trying to tell us in their own way.
Subtly, right? If they tell you who they are the first time, what they say, believe it.
That's right.
Yeah.
The worst part about it is that you gotta put the white face on it.
That's the first, the white face.
Put the white face on
They
it.
did us so dirty in this country and still doing it. What they do? They smile in your face.
Right.
The backstab.
That's gonna be TikTok viral right there.
Yeah.
Backstabbers.
Y'all like my shirt and say nap queen.
Okay.
Queen of
I
nap.
can't see. Was it NAP? I need to take one. I'm gonna take one immediately.
They don't even know this Catwoman on Batman.
Right? What was it? A Pulp Fiction? That's right. Who's that? Catwoman, Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt
right?
was the one.
Hello,
darling. Marcus, darling. Okay. Oh, before I forget, I want you to look at this movie. Have you heard of it? Dead Poets Society. It's an old movie, but I'm actually going to use this movie.
Okay, go ahead. We're back on
Yeah.
Black Power Radio.
Black Power.
Black Power. Black Power. All power to the people. Again, we got a couple people listening in to the show. If you want to join us, press one. If not, we're just gonna keep talking. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube via my page, the Black Power Hour, and Janae, what, Cook Muhammad? Yeah, I think that's what we get. So if you want to join us live in person, you can. If you want to join us on Blog Talk Radio, you are more than welcome. And again, we want to give congratulations to our Sheikh Imam Afar, who is the host of Black Power Radio.
That's right.
He is on his honeymoon right now. He's in the Poconos right now. So they enjoying themselves on their honeymoon.
Look out, Pennsylvania. Look out, Pennsylvania.
Yes,
right. You got a power couple coming. You better make some room.
So they are enjoying each other. She's such a beautiful bride, and we are just so happy for them. I'm ecstatic. I promise.
And then one time, Cash App 77 Bakers. In case you want to go,
before the show. That's right, 77 Bakers.
That's right.
So we got to keep it on the air. We got to keep the cash going for the new Black Panther Party.
Don't forget that dollar sign in front now.
Yes,
dollar sign.
77 Bakers.
That's
right. If it's anybody that wants to come on, just press one. If not, we're gonna wrap it up with Sister Mellow Desire. Go ahead, Queen.
All right. So we always want to finish off with acknowledging our spiritual presence, our most high God, our most gracious God. So we just started reading the Quran. We just read the opener yesterday, 7 verses. Now we're going to read the Quran chapter 2, and this is a translated version for our new age who have not been reading the Quran at all. And this is called the heifer. Please correct me if
the heifer.
The heifer, okay?
It's the cow, yes, the cow.
Okay. Al-Bakar.
The cow.
Bakar.
Cow.
You know.
I'm going to get my pronunciation in a couple weeks. The heifer, Al-Bakar. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So verse 1, Alif Lam Mim. Number 2, this is the book in which there is no doubt, a guide for the righteous. 3, those who believe in the unseen and perform the prayers and give from what we have provided for them. 4, and those who believe in what was revealed to you and in what was revealed before you and are certain of the hereafter. 5, these are upon guidance upon their Lord. These are the successful. Verse 6, as for those who disbelieve, it is the same for them, whether you have warned them or have not warned them, they do not believe. 7, God has set a seal on their hearts and on their hearing, and in their hearing, and over their vision is a veil. They will have a severe torment. 8, among the people are those who say, we believe in God and in the last day, but they are not true believers. 9, they seek to deceive God and those who believe, but they deceive none but themselves, though they are not aware. How these verses are so true today.
Yes, they
God.
are.
Verse 10, in their hearts is sickness, and God has increased their sickness. They will have a painful punishment because of their denial. Verse 11, and when it is said to them, do not make trouble on earth, they say, we are only reformers. Verse 12, and that's the last verse we'll cover, and we'll take the rest next week. In fact, they are the troublemakers, but they are not aware. Praise Lord. Thank you for the reading of the second book, the heifer, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we'll, as we go,
Surat, it's called Surat al-Baqarah.
Surat
Okay.
al-Baqarah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each
Surat.
chapter in the Quran is called a surat, and
Mm-hmm.
each verse that you read is called an ayat.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
That I just learned that. All right. It's so awesome. The words, the scriptures of the Quran and the scriptures of the Holy Bible. These are things that we not to take lightly because they give us the guidance of what our God, what Allah, what the Lord has in store for us as the original man. So, as we grow as warriors, never forget your spiritual foundation. Always do your prayers. Always. Prayers is what strengthen anything, and we must be faithful in it. Black Power.
Black power.
Now, the last verse we're going to read is the mantra, and then I'm going to turn it over to last words for Queen Mother Melody and Queen Mother Janae. We're going to read 1 Corinthians 13, which is our main verse. Love is a wonderful thing, but
Oh,
not to be taken
yes.
lightly. Yes.
That's
Think
right.
of it.
Praise God. If I speak in tongues of men or of angels and do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all the mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all my possessions to the poor and give my body to hardship so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when the completeness comes, what in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child, and I reasoned like a child. But when I became an adult, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we only see the reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now in part I know that I shall say fully that even I am fully known. And last, now three things remain: faith, love, and hope. But the greatest of these is what is it, Black family?
Love.
Love.
Woo! All right. And
Love is
that's
the
our
greatest thing of
spiritual
all.
reading. Praise
Yes, it
God.
is.
Hallelujah.
Black
So
Go
Gold.
ahead,
I
Mother. You give your wrap up for tonight.
you have any
What do you
closing
think?
remarks?
Yes, I want my black folks to listen. God loves us. There's no greater love than God's love, and He loves us. And
Amen.
believe me when I tell you, all this wickedness that they doing to us,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
it won't last always. Believe me. And
Right.
they're gonna get their comeuppance.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Definitely.
That's
Praise
right.
David
God.
Rockefeller was the first example. Let's
Doctor
use
Who?
David Rockefeller
Oh, David Rockefeller.
was the first example of no matter what, when he calls you home, you going.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have to change your brain to stone, you
Hmm.
going.
Mm-hmm.
And God says, right, when your time is appointed, that's it. There is no
That's
other way to go. You gotta
mm-hmm.
go. Death is appointed. But if you 100 good years and you don't know your purpose, you don't want to waste your life either. So, Black family, while we're alive and breathing, get on the ball of positivity. Focus on what's important, what is going to remain. And I challenge my Black sisters, especially, I'm going to target your nail fund. Okay, so we want you to have a $99 membership, and this $99 membership is for upcoming programs, everything that you need to really get your family in order, your life in order. We're going to have a ton of resources for you, not only on Black Power Radio, but in the community of where we stay. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining with us 3 days, 3 nights a week, Sundays and Mondays. 8 p.m. Pacific Standard, Eastern Standard, 5 p.m. here in LA time. We want you to join us and learn and learn and learn and apply. So as we get closer to Malcolm X Day next year, that we'll have a trained mentality. We have 7 months left, my family. So make sure you figure out, what is it that I want to offer the youth? What is it do I want to bring that day? Because we're making a national call to action to all of our chapters, new and old. If you're about the revolution, we want to see you. We want to commune with you. We want to grow with you if you're serious about the movement. But if you're not, what you got to do,
she kind of messing up a little.
That's right. Exit stage left. That's it. So I know I could talk all day, but Black family, I just love you. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Going live on Black Power Radio. So I'm just gonna give my little wrap up while we toggle.
Can you tell us also before you wrap up, please?
So we just want to thank you all for reaching out to us on Black Power Radio show. Again, this is Sister Janae, Washington, D.C. chairwoman, along with Sister Mellow Desire in L.A., and Queen Mother Melody. And we have been the Black Panther women from the east to the west. Can y'all hear me now? Yeah, I had to just kind of talk.
They cut that original Black Panther right on out.
Yeah, they did. They cut you
right when they say Queen Mother Melody from
Queen Mother original Black Panther. Yeah, so we have been holding it down. Next week you will have Sheikh Imam Akbar back because he can have this job. Look, this is not an easy job. I totally forgot about the whole show. I was like, I'm quitting. I can't do it. I mean, but we can hold it down.
You did good though. Sis, you did good. Pat yourself on the back. Come on now. You did good though.
Yeah, we did all right. We did all right.
Well, yeah, right.
My whole day went by and I'm like, I'm stuck on the phone all day long. And then now I had to do a radio show as well. So but
it's hard work for you.
Yes, a lot of work to do. Sister Michelle and I are going to go back to Howard University campus tomorrow. Michelle said she's going to cook some cabbage and potatoes. And I'm going to make some cornbread, muffins, and some veggies. I'm going to make a soup, though. I think I'm going to make them some vegetable soup and take it over there.
That'd be good.
A big bowl of soup or whatever. And take it to the kids and just let them have at it because it's cold. They don't want no hot. They don't want no cold pizza. They were like, please don't bring no more pizza up here. We don't want pizza. They want food. Real hearty, something that's gonna put a lump in their stomach. So I think
right on.
Soup and cornbread. That big pan of cornbread that I made. They was just eating out. They ate it up. They loved it. So
and that vegetable soup is needed especially for the nutrition to sustain them. If they can get that every other day, we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, that's the nitrogen that they need to fight this COVID, brothers. Y'all need a nitrogen-based diet, because like I said, they in a COVID hotbed. That's just terrible.
Oh God. It's disgusting. The whole idea that they have to live like that is just disgusting.
So I think before we close, I want to remind the Board of Trustees of Howard which we mentioned some of them yesterday. So
And one of
R.I.P.
them died overnight.
Didn't say it.
I'm laughing. I'm not
Rashad.
laughing, but it's just very coincident that we
We just
mentioned his
say
name. Yeah, he passed. Uh, we
Colin
had to go.
Powell. We apologize. We are fully vaccinated. We kicked the bucket, but you were the board of trustees on one of the prestigious schools, and so those who are living, those who are
You
living.
said kick the bucket. I haven't heard that in a long time. Now hold on.
I want to try to be cold, but when you mess with our black babies, I just don't have the heart for you. I'm
I don't
dead or alive.
have no
Something just
sympathy for you.
happens.
So what we do wish, we do send our condolences to the Powell family who is, suffering through this loss. But we do want to address the
Yeah,
rest of the board of trustees.
his wife is COVID positive.
Mm.
They sent her home.
Oh,
So
okay.
so the family has to deal with her health now. So that
Right.
means they're gonna have to be all shielded up to deal with mama. And I don't think
Mm.
she knows her husband is dead yet. So
Wow.
it's
It's still
sad.
fresh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we send our condolences to the Powell family, and for the rest of the board of trustees, Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen, Fred Savage, I am directing this to you, Hollywood, because you have Hollywood behind you, other than the board of trustees. So do something, send something to the students ASAP Rocky. And when I say I will find out, because Debbie Allen Dance Studio is not too far from where I live. Guess who's going to be paying a visit in about a week
Right.
or so if you don't hear nothing,
Well,
okay?
I'm definitely gonna hit her up on Twitter all day, but I got busy and forgot.
Yep.
Okay.
Tell her I'm coming. If you don't
Yeah.
start supporting our baby, because she has a lot of resources, a lot of them. So we're not playing any games with our babies. But thank you for doing the hard work out there, Queen Janae and Imam Akbar, who was out there feeding the kids and really showing them love. It's not easy, and we always want to show you homage and thank you for your hard work on it.
Yes.
Definitely not easy to see them living like that, and even though it's their choice, but I mean, I can imagine live with mold and risk getting pneumonia, or live
Right.
outside and just take your chances.
That's how people are getting this COVID. It's inside the
Mm.
ventilation system. And they
Mm.
have never changed that ventilation system in Howard. They still have the old system. They do not have the HAVAC system. I read the article. I went through it to see what was the problem.
What was the problem?
And they have done nothing
Lord.
in the 18 months that everybody else has been working hard to clean up. They haven't cleaned jack.
It's a
They
shame.
just
They
shut
need
down.
to shut down. They need to just be, like I said, arrested or heavy
All of them need to
consequences.
go to jail.
They
For
sure
theft
do.
of services. They all need to go to jail for theft of services because
Mhm.
they're supposed to service these children. The
Right.
children have paid for the tuition. Okay?
Right.
They're supposed to have everything that comes with that tuition, including a decent meal.
Right.
Minimum a decent meal. $45,000 tuition. So this week we're gonna watch to see if we do have parent involvement, because we are very curious as to
Right.
where the parents are. Okay, so when it comes to Black students, we have to hold ourselves accountable. Okay, so we're gonna be on you like white on rice until these babies get the housing and food and a meeting and financing that will be secure. And I'm
They
going
want to know where their money is going, and I don't blame
Right.
them. Where's their tuition money going?
And yeah, you know what? And we have to mention that as well, that the gentrification, the housing issues is going to these developers. And that's what we're dealing with here in not only in California, but nationwide. USC is notorious for that. So I'm telling you right now, developers, you better slow your roll, because this little laws, that the loopholes that you find to keep purchasing land in Black communities without a say so, that's going to end very soon. Okay, so 2022, we're giving you 3 months to get your stuff together.
Get it together,
Black
y'all.
House. That's right.
And we're going to paint Harlem black again.
Okay.
Hey, that's right. Let's get it.
Do the Harlem Shuffle
Right,
right on the
ladies.
spot.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. It is almost, yep. We got 1 minute left. Let's get off Black Power Radio. Yeah, 1 minute. Let's go with the what do we do? Here we go. Going out. We're gonna start it off with Black Power Radio.
Love you, Black family.
I miss you. I miss you.
Black
Black
Power.
family.
That's right.
You gonna let me play for a little while. Good night on Black Power Radio. Y'all can stay. We're gonna stay live on StreamYard though for a minute.
Okay.
Just let that play on out.
Was that the ending?
I miss you, baby.
You feel a little smooth tonight, huh? Mama
Listen,
I need to relax.
I played that driving all the way from Mississippi to New York.
Oh wow. Over and over again. I would be depressed by the time.
And that's when they had the big CD.
Okay.
The big one.
Yeah.
How many hours from Mississippi to New York?
Ooh, 22 and a half hours.
Almost a whole day. Okay.
Well, I took it from, we stopped in Carolina. From Mississippi to Carolina was like maybe 12, 14 hours. And then from Carolina to DC was 6 hours. And then from DC to New York, that was another 4 hours. So it was rough.
And then you stop at the pit stops from time to time, or did you like?
Yeah, we stayed over. When we got to Carolina, we stayed overnight. You know, because we had 2 small children, so we had to stop.
Right. Well, that's a good show tonight, ladies.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Definitely, you know, stay on that organ harvesting thing because I have a list of over 5,000 young Black women and girls who have been kidnapped since I think it was 2012. I started keeping the list.
Right. And
So
we do
I
need
have
to.
that list. When they first started snatching them babies in DC, that's where it started. That's where it started.
Yeah,
right
definitely,
in DC.
definitely. And that, you know, that was when I first got to DC about 6 years ago when we had 20 kids in 1 week that just disappeared. Nobody didn't know where they were.
And somebody saw and took a picture of a CIA agent grabbing up this little girl. We ain't never seen the little girl since.
And they still haven't found Relisha. We still looking for Relisha Ruggs.
They didn't do nothing like the brothers
cannot
say.
find Relisha. We were looking for this little girl. I met her father. I've seen her mother before. Right here, you know, in Washington, D.C., they do not know where that child is. It's been 5, 6 years.
The picture, I mean, I don't understand how they got a picture of this white man, whole face, his whole body, and they ain't found him yet. How?
How long ago was this? When did this happen?
6 years ago.
About 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
These are the type of stories that I have time for, that I would look into and get a little nosy up in there and find out.
Well, then this one will really get you. When COVID first hit, and they turned off the water in, I think it was Boulder Dam in Colorado. They heard women screaming. The National Guard went up into the Boulder Dam where they have the rooms and stuff and found 2,000 women and girls locked up behind this dam. You know, they could scream all day. And the water
nobody would have heard.
Hear you.
Oh my God, that just brought chills to me just thinking about that. Woo!
2,000. You know that, I mean, a lot of things happened during COVID that was bad, but a lot of things happened that was good because it really revealed a whole lot of stuff about them. Them and their cousin, the yellow Chinaman, they all in this together.
That's right. And that's why we have to have
organ harvesting.
Yeah, they did it in Nigeria. They took 6,000 penises, Black men that they cut off to China, and they were serving it as an aphrodisiac called penis soup. 6,000 penises. Now listen, where you get 6,000 Nigerian men penises from?
Right.
Where's the rest of the body that was attached to that?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They got some nigger toe soup. You ever heard about that?
Nigger toe soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look
it up. But people donate their toes. They say you got to donate. I was like, nah, they cutting motherfuckers' foot
That
off.
point. I don't know why volunteering my damn toe. That is for sure. That is for sure.
I heard it. I was like, what?
Look,
Are you serious?
Listen, go eat some pig feet, yo.
Right.
Like
they don't mind. They
pork chop and die.
Leave my nigga toes alone.
I know. Don't mess with my piggly wigglies. Nah. Nah. Yeah, so we got to keep it on top. And this week, I wanted to have a meeting this Thursday. Now, the Zoom meeting, I don't know what happened. We had the Zoom call, and half of us was able to appear. The other half was showed up but didn't speak. I'm not comfortable with that. So what I want is Queen Mama Janae, Mama Melody, I want us to get the rest of the ministers in a weekly
meeting. In this broadcast, okay.
Oh, you want to eat it? Are we live? Can they still hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Oh, oh, my bad. So this is how we plan, ladies and gentlemen. We're